Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Tuesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia. On the socials, go there. Join the militia. Happy Sweet 16 Tuesday. Sorry. Happy Sweet 16 Tuesday. Syracuse will face 2 seed AAC Conference champion Huston Cougars in the Sweet 16 on Saturday, March 27th at 9:55. That's just the right time for me, actually. I will be ready. Joe will need a nap, admittedly. And once he takes a nap from 2 to 9:54, he'll be ready to go. We'll let you know what we think about that. The women, they play tonight for a spot in the Sweet 16 themselves against the 1 seed UConn. That game is at 9 o'clock. If you're early enough to hit us up and you didn't know, now you know. If you did know, then cool. Great. Yeah. And Leeds odds maker for BetOnline will join us to talk some Syracuse in the Sweet 16 and March Madness and maybe some money makers to give you some ideas. And you bet I'm going to ask him, who did it? Who put out the prop bet for how many times Jim Boeheim was going to pick his nose? Who did that? We'll find out.
No,
We're going to ask him. We're going to dig. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Okay? Doing the hard stuff no one wants to do. Working our fingers to the bone for you guys over here, by the way, because I think this is like, I don't know, 4 podcasts in 3 days? Is it 2? Or is it 5? I can't remember. I lost track too. That's what I'm saying. We're going to get into all of that. But first, speaking of BetOnline, we got to hear from the folks over at BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Now, college basketball. It's heating up. We're in the Sweet 16 now. They've got all of the props there. They've got all of the spreads and individual game matchups, obviously. If you missed out on the $100,000 Bracket Madness contest, all of that stuff's there. They've got you covered in all news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bet, and it's free to sign up. So head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. It's a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. eBay.com/sneakers. From rare dead stock to the latest release, you can find the exact sneaker you're looking for on eBay. As the original sneaker marketplace, eBay is the place to go to cop the pair you've been eyeing. In partnership with eBay, Armchair Media will be raffling off 4 custom-made sneakers. Each purchase you make before March 31st through eBay.com/sneakers will enter you into a drawing to win a pair of Air Force One low tops. Just send a screenshot of your purchase to @ArmchairMedia on Twitter or Instagram. That is @ArmchairMedia on Twitter or Instagram. Send it there. Enter you to win. Thank you, Armchair, for that opportunity. Yes. By the way, I have the orange. I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again because they're going on this week. Okay? They're going on. Every time I leave the house, I got the orange low top Air Force Ones, orange laces, white swoosh. I look like a kind of a clown in them, to be honest with you. But I don't care. I don't care at all. Right, Joe? Joe's clicking.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know you don't.
Joe's clicking, and that only means one thing, that he's just now getting prepared for the show. So
that's not what that means.
Okay. Sorry. The all-time series between the Orange and the Cougars sits at 1-0 in favor of Syracuse. They took the game in 1982, 92-87. This was the same Huston team that had Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon on it, and also the team that would go on to lose the national championship in the famous upset by Jim Valvano's Wolfpack. Hat tip orangehoops.org. The Cougars finished the regular season at 21-3, 14-3 in conference play before going going on to beat Tulane, Memphis, and Cincinnati to take the AAC championship. As I mentioned, they came into the NCAA tournament as a 2 seed. They beat 15 seed Cleveland State, 87-56, and 10 seed Rutgers, 63-60. They're led by 6'5", 205-pound junior Quentin Grimes. He's averaging 18 points a game, shoots 42% from behind the arc. Out of 218 attempts, he's made 91. Juxtapose that with Buddy's 76 out of 192. Grimes also shooting 41% from the field, so he's pretty much their number one guy. Marcus Sasser's no slouch either, hitting 45% from the field and knocking down 88.5% of his free throws. 6'7", 255-pound senior Justin Gorham. He leads Houston in rebounds per game with 8.5 as they're averaging, 41, I think, a game in rebounds. That's good for 6th overall in the country, as well as 6th in rebounding margin in the country, and 3rd in the country for offensive rebounding, grabbing about 45% of their misses. They also sit 2nd in scoring defense, only allowing 58 points per game. So, Joe, on paper, this team looks extremely strong, but again, I would turn to their strength of schedule, where they're 78th, Syracuse is 48th. But the rebounding thing, those are killer stats to me. This team isn't big, though, from what I could see. The tallest guy I could find was 6'8".
Yeah, and that's really, kind of the point that I was going to hit when I looked at the box score and, the rotation they were running against Rutgers in the second round. The 4 forwards that played, they all played 12-plus minutes, 12, 19, 19, and 24, all respectively. They are all pretty much labeled at 6'8", 225, 230, something like that. So they have size. They're not, real skinny, and they're really, really active. And that's really the one thing with this team is that they're just really, really active, and that's something that we're just going to have to match. The energy, same thing that we were kind of talking about with West Virginia. We had to match it, and we're going to have to do the same thing with this team as well. But as far as the scoring goes, a lot of that comes from the guards. When you look at the guards, the 3 guards they started against Rutgers, Sasser, Grimes, and Giroux, combined, they shot 36 shots. And then the guard, Mark, that comes off the bench, shot 10. So you got 46 out of the 59 shots coming from the 4 guards in your rotation. And they all can, take some three-pointers and stuff like that. Grimes and Giroux are both 6'5", Sasser a little bit smaller at 6'1". But, that's really where their offense comes from. And then I believe they get an offensive rebound at 39.5% of their misses, almost 40% of their misses. So those are going to be the little stats to worry about. Obviously, we know our 2-3 zone gives teams that don't really know how to handle it. And I talked to you about it yesterday, but I don't really know if they played against a zone like ours in the AAC. And that's number one.
And I think that's been everybody's Achilles heel that's played us. But now there's tape during the tournament. Obviously, they're going to have a little bit more time to prepare than West Virginia. So
right. So they get practice. They get a week. They get some preparation.
I don't know. You can't mimic it, though.
I don't think you can duplicate that in practice.
Right. Exactly.
So you even saw that with West Virginia. The first half to 3/4 of the first half, they struggled to kind of figure out our zone. And we do change our zone as we go, too. So there was other little stretches where they struggled. So we know what to expect from our 2-3 zone. It's just these guys can shoot some threes. And that's going to be, obviously part of it. I think it's really going to be defending the threes and basically making sure that we rebound. And obviously we have to have that effort on defense. We have to go after the balls like normal, and then just obviously hope that we don't get any type of foul trouble on certain players that we really can't, have in foul trouble. So there's some things we can do with this team to kind of hurt their scoring, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it. As long as they can match up with us, then they'll have their guards in there to shoot. But if we can go big but I can see a situation where we force them to have to play 3 forwards, take an offensive guy out, or they're just going to have to kind of, give up some kind of like mismatch in which Quincy might be going against the 6'5" guard. So there's little strategic, chess moves we can do in there to stay big and kind of force the hand of Houston and hopefully offset their rebounding. They did out rebound Rutgers by 10, and they had 16 offensive rebounds against them. So, yeah, it's a team that plays really good defense, and they're going to hustle. They have an 8-man rotation. They play a lot of minutes, and they're going to keep the pressure up, and they just hustle for everything. I mean, that's just how they play.
That's the effort thing, and they've got it, and that's why they're averaging, guys, 41 rebounds a game. So now, we go through the strength of schedule thing, and we got to mention it because of the discrepancy. I feel like it's worth mentioning.
Well, that's what I was going to hit up next. So
okay.
Go ahead.
No, well,
no, you go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know how much water it holds at the end of the day, but it seemed like when we were looking at San Diego State's, for instance, not seeing a lot of San Diego State throughout the year other than what we had to play them. To be honest, I didn't watch a game of theirs, and you nailed the preview. By the way, I just think I would point that out. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt, but you really did. So when you look at this schedule, they got 3 losses: Wichita State, okay, Tulsa. I mean, I don't know, East Carolina. So, I just don't know. I just don't know the competition here. I just really don't. Just honestly speaking. So.
Oh, and that's what I was going to bring up is that, you could argue that probably the Mountain West was a stronger conference than the AAC. And East Carolina certainly wasn't a good team this year. Tulsa had a good defense. They were in the middle of the pack, but
Wichita State made the tournament.
I know they beat Texas Tech in non-conference and everything like that. But yeah, you can really look at the fact that obviously they didn't play as competitive as a schedule as we did, and obviously it's going 26-3. Their record shows it. So, but something else I actually read too, Dejan Giroux, I guess a couple different times. He was dealing with a hip injury. I know he scored 17 points, played a pretty good game against Rutgers, still 32 minutes, but that's probably a guy that's playing closer to the whole game, and he had to take some minutes out because of a sore hip. And, of course, he'll have all week to, PT that and get that right. But just something to note as far as that goes. But, going back to the strength of schedule, again, that's why in the beginning of this tournament I said I'm not trying to poo-poo on Houston. I made the Sweet 16 a couple of years ago. They were in a good spot last year to do some good things. But that still is the AAC, and I'd still rather – I did talk about how I thought they were the weakest number 2 seed. So if there's a 2 seed that I'd want to play, even though Oral Roberts beat Ohio State, it would be Houston. At least that was in the beginning of the tournament. So just a conference champ from a mid-major school, and you get this far and you wonder sometimes. At this point, I'd rather probably play a team that's not in a Power 5 conference. And I'm not saying that with confidence, guaranteeing a win or it
just makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and looking at West Virginia's schedule and who they played and beat and everything like that. Although again, Big 12 didn't really show out this that good in the tournament either. They didn't have any bad losses and stuff like that. So, I was more nervous going into the West Virginia game than I'm going to be going into this game, especially considering that we did already make the Sweet 16 and, kind of exceeded my expectations anyway.
That sounds great now, but, when the game starts, it's going to be Nerve City.
You're not going to want to lose, right?
Yeah, so,
of course.
for me...
But a month ago, if you would have polled the fans, are we going to make the Sweet 16? What do you think it would have been? Come on.
Polled the fans, yeah, you're probably looking at a heavy no on that.
Yeah, a month ago we didn't even know we were going to make the tournament, right?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if we had this conversation here or if we did it on the phone or whatever, but I wanted to play Houston over Rutgers, and one of the reasons is totally insignificant and ridiculous, but it is this, that first of all, I just think that early game against Rutgers, I think maybe there's a possibility I know it's a fact, I think. It's my opinion, but I think that we play them a whole lot better. But the thought of losing to them twice just makes me sick. So I would rather play Houston, someone who hasn't seen us this year. I don't want to play a non-conference opponent twice if I don't have to, right? Especially one that beat us. So
yeah, I mean, Ron Harper Jr.'s got the game to definitely beat us.
Yeah,
I guess
15
that's really
points
the
a game.
One thing is you don't see a lot of the forwards taking a lot of shots. I mean, they had one forward, Chaney played 12 minutes, Gresham played 19. They didn't shoot a shot. And the other two shot 13 combined between them, and they only shot 5. So, I mean, I guess my thing is that, like, I mean, I don't know this team enough, but who is going to play in the middle of that zone at that free throw line to do something? I mean, you saw West Virginia struggle with it. We took their big man completely out of the game. So that's really the one thing that I'm going to look for too is who are they going to put at the free throw line that's going to make that offense a little bit different other than guard heavy.
This is a game too where as long as Jesse can be smart, and I think he will, and stay out of foul trouble, this is a game we're going to see a lot of Jesse. I think he can be the best he can be down there against I mean, look, 6'7".
Well, he could, but we don't necessarily need it, and we probably won't see it if the rebounding disparity isn't too great,
Understandable.
Because then the other time he's going to come in as if Dolzai's in foul trouble.
And the other question,
that's really the two things right there.
Yeah, absolutely. If the rebounding's down or he's in foul trouble. I mean, if everything is going swimmingly, then we stick with what's working, right? So, But you got it. You got it if you need it. And in the way he's been playing, I would feel comfortable with it, Especially.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just a magazine in the pocket that you could throw in and change the game up if you need to. So that's not going to be the beginning of a game type thing. I mean, they're going to go in there and hope that what they bring out there in the starting lineup can handle themselves and get the rebounds. So
right, yeah. So I mean, with that said, I mean, look, when you look past. We can do this because we're fans. We can look past Houston. Would you rather play Oregon State or Loyola Chicago?
Man.
So
that is tough, but I think I'm still going to stay on the line of I'd rather play a mid-major team.
Yeah.
I'd rather play a mid-major team. Oregon State right now is on fire. The Pac-12 has kind of shown that
Loyola Chicago's on fire too.
Well, I know Loyola Chicago is on fire. They've been ranked the whole season. They're definitely a good team, and the Missouri Valley is a good conference. But so is the Mountain West. So is the AAC in their own rights. They always usually put a couple teams in that can compete. And with the Pac-12, you're talking about a conference that only got 5 in. They were kind of underrated the whole season. And now you have 4 still left, and you're going to have, well, at most 3 because USC and Oregon are playing each other. But these Pac-12 teams are balling out right now. And the way that Oregon State ran through that Pac-12 tournament, and now they're still in the tournament, it's a 12 seed in the Sweet 16. Yeah, no thank you. I would rather deal with the mid-major team like Loyola. And it's not to slight them. When you're in the Elite Eight, everybody's good. It's just usually mid-major teams don't have as much size and depth. And again, they could. I don't know too much about Loyola Chicago. But from where we're standing and where I'm standing right now and what I know, I just want to stay away from those Power 5 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think I disagree. I don't have a big, long, drawn-out reason the way you do, other than my gut, is that I don't want to play Loyola Chicago. If they get past Houston, I don't want to play them. And let's be honest, I mean, I feel like Syracuse
Are you afraid of Sister Jean?
Yeah, she's frightening. Look, I went to a Catholic school growing up, so yes, okay? Yes. All right? K through 5, first grade twice. Okay? I am scared of nuns. Okay? Sister Jean. Yes, she terrifies me. So I don't want to see it. Okay? But, if we do win, if there's any students listening, don't let Ricky Report's fun kill your after party if we make it to the Elite Eight, okay? Ricky Report's celebration, he's going to be out there with his cameras and his Twitter, and he's going to be trying to shame everybody for breaking COVID protocol, but don't let it discourage you. Have fun. Have fun. Let Ricky report fun. Let Ricky report celebration.
Live life.
He must be electric in the ozone, which is the dumbest name for a student section I think I've ever heard of. But, hey, look, I'm not a student. I didn't get to name it, but I didn't get to name the crane either. What was the crane's name? Cliff? What the hell was it? Walt? Cliff or Walt? I mean,
I don't know.
Come on, guys. Come on. He must be electric in the ozone, though. Coincidentally enough, the ozone also the areas of New York that have to go on lockdown and can't go to the restaurants. So, anyways,
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
I know. It's because you're not on Twitter. Joe's not on Twitter, so he doesn't know. He has no idea. But those of you who do know, you do know. You do know. So, anyways, all right. Let's bring on... Oh, wait. No, let's not bring on anybody yet. Let's not. You know why, Joe? You know what time it is? You know what time it is.
It's time for...
It's prediction time. That's right. So, we kind of already went over the predictions from last game. Joe did get the spread, but neither one of us were really close. I was way too high. And Joe had West Virginia winning. So, we will start again.
True.
I will go first.
Thank God.
Okay. All right. So let me just do a little research while I'm on the horn right now. And I'm gonna say I'm looking for a Syracuse win. I think this is gonna be a close one. Look, I got Syracuse going to the Elite Eight, okay? I'm not ashamed to say it. So Syracuse 73, Huston 68. So,
wow.
Outright winning, not only, you can have the points. You can take the points and you can shove them right where points are supposed to go that you don't want. Okay? Which was 6.
Yeah. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's now it's your turn, Joe.
I'm torn a little. But
I'm riding this thing. I'm riding this thing till the wheels fall off of it.
I mean, I'm right there too. I had to go the other way because that was the team I was afraid of on this side. But
right. Well,
I think I'm right there with you. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like. All right. So I think it's going to be a 70-60 win, Syracuse.
70-60 win, Syracuse. I hope you nail this, Joe. It's the first time I've ever rooted for you in anything, by the way. So
yeah, it's not true, but okay.
Look, hey, I mean, for me personally, I think that, and I'm no expert, but I will say this: there are smaller. Maybe some of them are more athletic. They're guards. They have one of their guards is pretty tall. One of their guards is like 6'5".
They got a couple guards that are 6'5". Quentin Grimes 6'5", and so is Giroux.
Yeah. So
and they shoot a majority of their shots as well. So
and they can hit them. The whole here's the thing, because we haven't seen the consistency. So the reason I'm on the Cuse train, the orange train, is not only because I'm an Orange fan, and I'm obviously biased, but when we talk all year about consistency, and we don't see it, well, now we're seeing it. I mean, you can even put that UVA game that we lost in the ACC tournament into this because the defense.
Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah, because I mean.
And then you throw that into the UNC and the Clemson game. We've seen 6 games of what this team actually looks like, and I mean,
exactly.
At this point, I mean, that's what I expect.
Right.
It's been different, and that's what I expect right now. And I know that Houston is going to have trouble. They are going to have their little issues with it, but they're also going to pressure us, and we're going to have to do what we need to do. But I mean, it's a lot of them having to figure out our zone all the while hitting shots. And, you know, I just don't know. If we can stop the guards from penetrating to make shots, I don't know if they have a forward at the free throw line that can, you know, run an offense from there to get good 2-point shots. And that's what you saw West Virginia kind of lack. West Virginia was in that game because there was a couple moments where we stopped scoring and, you know, they were just making their threes.
Right.
So, and that's really what I got the 70-60 is that I just don't. I see a game where Houston might not be able to get in a roll and make their threes. And I don't know really how they're going to score down low because I don't really know. They don't get a lot of 2-point buckets. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, 8 of their 22 buckets last game were 3-pointers. But they are going to be slow, methodical. They're going to pass it around. So that's really the one thing is you got to look at early how they handle that 2-3 zone. Are they going to look like an older team, a good team like a Virginia that's going to move the ball around and kind of figure out where the holes in the zone are and make the right passes and get the right shots? Or do they rely on specific players to do specific things to score? And is the zone just going to take that away? And it's going to be a chess match for sure, and 2 teams that don't really know each other, and just obviously cannot wait. And it's going to be the last game on Saturday, and I'm going to be in my head all game, anxiety and nervous all day.
I know.
Waiting until 9:55. So if I do take a nap, it's just to, you know,
alleviate the anxiety.
Alleviate the anxiety and get rid of some time
I
have to wait.
Or right. To just to fast forward.
Yeah, pretty much a fast forward.
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough.
That's where I'm at, man.
Okay.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game for sure. They're a good team, but by no means are we definitely going to lose this game for sure, especially the way that we've been playing. And I can definitely see that line of 6 points coming down.
All right, we will be right back with Dave Mason from BetOnline right after this. BetOnline, the title sponsor for the Cuse Militia and Armchair Media, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. NBA is in full swing. The college basketball, obviously in full swing. And you can bet on all of the props there. You can bet on the games individually, the props that they got. The $100,000 Bracket Madness contest, obviously, is, it's too late, guys. I'm sorry. And my bad. I take a little bit of responsibility for not bringing this up earlier, and that's my fault for not checking my email for this read. So, my bad. They also have you covered for all news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bet, and it's free to sign up. Head over to the website. Use your mobile device today to sign up. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. It's a 50% welcome bonus. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. eBay.com/sneakers. From rare dead stock to the latest release, you can find the exact sneaker you're looking for on eBay as the original sneaker marketplace. eBay is the place to go to cop the pair you've been eyeing in partnership with eBay. Armchair Media will be raffling off 4 custom-made sneakers. Each purchase you make before March 31st through eBay.com/sneakers will enter you into a drawing for a pair of Air Force One low tops. Just send a screenshot of your purchase to @Armchair Media on Twitter or Instagram. That's @Armchair Media on Twitter or Instagram to enter yourself into that contest. Win the sneakers, the Air Force One low tops. Thank you.
Thanks.
BetOnline.com.
You said NBA.
I know. That was an accident. Shut up, Joe. Nobody likes you. Joe puts ketchup on his hot dogs.
Oh, wow. 2 false statements in a row.
All right, let's bring on Dave Mason. And joining us now, a lead odds maker for BetOnline at Dave Mason, BOL on Twitter. Dave Mason joins us. Dave, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How's it going? So, first, how does one get into being a leads odds maker for BetOnline?
Well, you're very generous with the title there. I'm not really necessarily the lead odds maker. I'm one of them, right?
I gotcha.
I work more on the marketing side of things. I do help with the odds, so I don't want to take the credit. We got some guys with a lot more brain power than I have doing the lead odds making stuff. And those guys are, all in the spreadsheets and numbers and calculators and all that stuff. They don't have time for many interviews, so I do that work. But how do I got involved in this industry? Almost 20 years ago. Just was figuring out what I wanted to do in life, and wanted to get into the betting industry, and I like to travel, and a lot of these places are located in far off exotic lands, and I started pounding the pavement and networking and knocking on doors, and somebody gave me a shot, and here I am 17 years later. It took me a couple years to really get a job and everything, but it all worked out.
That's awesome. So without divulging too much, how do you go about this? Like in the daily, let's like getting ready for like a March Madness or something. I mean, you've got so much stuff to crunch, and not a lot of time to do it by the time the bracket comes out and we start playing games. So how's that work?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, for the game lines, game spreads, totals, money lines, we have our metrics and data and all that stuff already lined up. And we have a couple really good college basketball consultants as well. So it's a bunch of us, and coming up with the numbers, you post them and you start taking action and you move from there, right? You're going to have public sides that are public loves, and then you're going to have the sharp sides too. And when sharps start betting stuff, then you really move the stuff real fast. So, as far as the props and futures, I mean, the futures have been up there all year, the odds to win the tournament, et cetera. So, it's just once after Selection Sunday, it's just a matter of, all right, cutting these teams out, adding these teams if you had to have some teams, and adjusting the odds a little bit here and there, and throw them up there. And then you can go with the Final Four odds and not, odds to win the region, make the Final Four, whatever you want to call it. And then all the special props and, unique stuff, that's just when a few of us just start. That's more my specialty, is that special, like wacky kind of exotic stuff.
That's the stuff I like. That's the stuff I like.
Yeah, that's the stuff a lot of people like, because usually it's about 4 of us just coming up with ideas, and we don't have data and all this stuff for this kind of stuff, or too much stats, and it's a lot of it's just 4 guys bouncing ideas off each other's heads and coming up with odds and throwing them up there. So, we can get pretty crazy and original with stuff. So, but we enjoy putting stuff like that up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you did have like a sports specialty. I know you said that was kind of your specialty, but if there was a sport that you would say that was your best, what would it be?
Probably UFC, MMA.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've
become a big fan of that over this.
Nice. Yeah, it's a hot sport, man. I've been following it since UFC 1. Show my age a little bit, but that was way back in '94, I guess.
Is that Hoist Gracie, or was that even before Hoist Gracie?
That was Hoist Gracie. Yeah, no, that was Hoist Gracie. Won the first one. It was I was in college, and a bunch of my buddies and I saw all the pay-per-view advertisements. That what martial art is the best, or what fighting is the best, and they had boxer in there, and he went in there with one glove. They had a sumo wrestler, like a karate guy. Then, of course, Hoist Gracie was the jiu-jitsu guy, and we all put $5 in a hat and got a keg of Natural Light and ordered the fights, and I was pretty much hooked ever since. But I love my college basketball. I'm a huge college basketball fan. Football, I love football. So those are probably my favorites are UFC, MMA, but mostly UFC, right? Yeah. Then college basketball and NFL are probably neck and neck, and then college football right after that.
Right up my alley. It's
There
about
you
right.
go.
I didn't hear any NASCAR in there, Sean, but
Yeah, that's
Never
actually
got into it, man. I just never got into. We offer odds on it. It's just I don't know.
it's a little
Just never-
disappointing, Dave. I'm not gonna lie. That's
I
that's that's okay.
So you're a big college basketball fan. So obviously we're Syracuse fans. You
Yep.
have to have a school that you go for, right?
Yeah, man. I'm a diehard Villanova guy. I grew up in
Okay.
Villanova, and ever since I was a little kid. I'm from the burbs of Philly, and yeah, man. So we've had a good run, and we're still in it. And I'm happy about
you
that. Gillespie went out a few weeks ago. I thought we were cooked, but making a Sweet 16 is good. Beth Baylor's squad's going to be tough though this weekend, man. We don't match up too well with them, but who knows? Jay Wright's as good as they get in the tournament, along with Boeheim. I mean, good God, what he's doing again as a double-digit seed, making it to the second weekend. Holy hell, Boeheim's just a legend. We miss you guys in the Big East, man. I miss those. I mean, like I said, I grew up pretty much, and I'm pretty much already spilled my age anyways, but the 80s, man, I was a kid when the 80s, that's when the Big East was just incredible, and watching those Cuse games, I saw Pearl Washington, who else, all those 80s Cuse teams, Derek Coleman,
DC
I
and
saw
Sherman Douglas,
Leo Routins and Addison, and who was the big man? They had another big man on
Ronnie
the team.
Cycli.
Ronnie Cycli, and I remember one of my first bets I won as a kid was that's probably I don't know what grade I was in. I mean, 9th grade, 8th grade, whenever Ronnie Cycli was around, and he was a freshman or sophomore, whatever he was, and I was telling one of my buddies, we're all hoops junkies, and I was a huge Big East guy, and I was telling my buddy he's going to be good, and he's like, he's going to be horrible. I bet him he'll make the NBA. He'll make the NBA. He's like, no way in hell. And probably like $5, $10 as a kid, but yeah, Ronnie's like, it's amazing how you remember those stupid bets as a kid, but but no, man, Cuse and I go way back. I can't say I'm a fan, but I definitely miss the rivalry, and I miss the I miss having you guys in the Big East, and I miss the old Big East, even though the new Big East has been very good to Villanova, but still some of those rivalries and games were just out of control.
Yeah, well, there's a chance for a Final Four matchup, so hey. You never know.
Do it. I think we'll both sign up for that.
Yep. If you have to have me on, and we'll have to have some kind of bet or something.
You're damn right.
Digging that.
So y'all were doing a $100,000 bracket madness contest, and obviously we mentioned the props, but just tell before we get into some of the Syracuse stuff that I wanted to hit on real quick. What kind of other props you got going on for anybody wanting to get in on some of the tournament action for the Sweet 16 and all the way to the championship?
Right. Well, we got the regular game lines, of course. What do we have now for Cuse? Let me see. I think we're getting, what is it? Sorry. Six, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's getting 6. Who are they betting? They're betting the other side, I believe. But that doesn't mean anything. Still, most of the actions yet to come in. You're getting 6 money line to win outrights plus 220, over under 140. Current odds for Cuse to win the Midwest plus 575. If you don't know what that means, any of your listeners, you risk $100. Your profit would be $575. And once again, your profit would be $575. So with your $100 risk, you get $675 back. Win the championship, a hefty 50-1, man. $10 bet would score $500 profit. So those are some of the current odds. We'll have a lot of the props coming up in the coming days. So check back the site and over the next few days for all sorts of. Well, we'd actually have some Buddy Boeheim total points versus Houston, 18.5 points over or under. So we're starting to put up some more and more content on the site, but we'll have a ton by game time.
That sounds fun. What do you have anything? What is your, if you're going to take one lock right now? I mean, maybe this is obvious for
lock in the NCAA tournament. That's laughable.
Well, out of the Sweet 16, who do you got? Who do you got taking it?
There's a couple games I like actually. I mean, I like every team getting that. Well, no, actually, I like 3 out of the 4 teams getting points on Saturday. Oregon State getting 6.5 against Loyola. Oral Roberts getting 11. That's just a lot of points.
Yeah.
And I like Cuse getting 6 versus Houston. I hate to, I Villanova, man. I'm not one of those rah, we're gonna win kind of guys. I look at them pretty realistically, and we just match up so bad against Baylor. I think. I mean, we're playing good ball. We're moving the ball. Some guys are coming off the bench. Thank God, that have been kind of dormant all year. That being said, Baylor's a different beast. The reality of it, we just beat 2 double-digit seeds. I mean, you really can't. That's no fault of our own. You play who's in front of you, and we look great on Sunday. We actually shelled them, but that being said, Baylor team's a different beast. So I'll probably be on Baylor. Yes, I do bet against my team sometimes. So,
hey,
whatever.
Yeah, I hear that.
Hey, it's best to look at it unbiased, I think.
I mean,
you kind of have to.
Yeah, you do. It's some people don't think you're a real fan that way, but the way I think that's BS.
Yeah.
They're not going to win or lose because I have money on them or against them.
Right.
I'm in the business to make money. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if I lose that bet and they win outright, I'll be more happy than winning that bet and losing. So big deal.
How much has any of this shifted? I mean, when you look at like a Loyola Chicago and an Oral Roberts in the Sweet 16, I mean, and you get these every year, but it's just crazy. And I know this was a COVID year, and we had just a lot of guys didn't play their full schedule. We had a lot of postponements. I mean, how difficult is it to get this stuff nailed down? Even the guys, the committee that has to seed this and all that stuff when you take everything into consideration.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy year. It's status quo for this year, though. Everything's been crazy for the last 12 months, man. It just fits right in. So, it makes sense. It makes sense that we see more quote unquote Cinderella teams than ever before. I guess more upsets. It's just anytime crazy stuff happens, that just levels the playing field. I mean, the fact that all these the powerhouses aren't in the tournament, that kind of goes hand in hand with that, right? No Duke, no Kentucky, and all these other teams that are always in the tournament year in, year out.
Mm-hmm.
That's those one and done machines. Just that the COVID wasn't good for them because they just had all the new players.
Yep.
Well, yeah, like UVA, they go and look like a favorite probably to take the ACC tournament heading into a game and get have a positive test and have to bail, and then they come in and they
steamrolled by
Ohio,
right?
So yeah,
and you can argue if they play in their tournament, then they probably end up with a better seed if they move on.
Sure.
Right? So.
Yeah, there's just so many variables, so it's just whatever. They're all. Whatever. It's just is what it is. I'm just glad we have a tournament because
absolutely last year sucked.
Yeah, 12 months ago I was instead of watching the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 Final Four, I was making frickin' banana bread. So and then figuring out what the hell Russian ping pong was and why we need to have odds on it. So whatever. It's not the tournament. We already had a forfeit. All sorts of crazy stuff happening, but we have a tournament. Is it perfect? No, but it's almost more fun, I think, because we waited an extra year, and those first 3 days. Yesterday kind of sucked, but the first 3 days are absolutely awesome, right? So, so I'm happy.
Now, did you have a prop bet that there was going to be
a forfeit?
Yes.
Yes, we did. It was the yes was actually favored.
Okay.
It's like
I would have taken that bet.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine too. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I can't imagine really like the seedings of these games. I mean, how much do you guys use that as far as like kind of setting the lines? I mean, I know you have those basic,
not really.
I didn't think so. Yeah, because most fans they look at the numbers and they fill out. If they're not betting, if you have somebody, they're just looking at seeds if they're filling out their tournament bracket. But when it comes to that, I assume that you guys really didn't look at the seeds at all. You guys kind of looked at the nuts and bolts of things, right?
Yeah, you pay attention to it, but it's not. We have our own power ranking. The bookies' power rankings and the NCAA tournament committee have different power rankings. I've concluded over the last 2 decades.
I saw a prop not too long ago. This was a few weeks ago. I believe it came from BetOnline, but I didn't see it on Twitter from them. Someone else retweeted it. Boeheim picking his nose. Who comes up with that one?
Oh, I did. That was
did you?
No.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Hey man, I'm a Villanova guy. I gotta take a jab at you guys.
Hey, look.
He doesn't have. Doesn't act to always have the most couth on the sidelines, but
so
I respect him for a coach, but man, he's got to keep that finger out. Wait till he goes to the locker room or something.
When was it? Was it the ACC tournament, the first game?
No, it was.
This is a while back.
It was
North Carolina or Clemson or.
It was the game. I think it was Duke. It was Duke because he dug for gold like 2 weeks early. 2 weeks early, and it was all over Twitter. And I talked to the guy I work with who comes up with crazy stuff, and I was like, dude, we need to have a prop on Boeheim picking his nose. And again, I know Syracuse and Boeheim has a history of it, so it is right,
Oh yeah.
And of course, since I'm a Villanova guy, I gotta take a jab at you guys. So he's like, all right, cool. Then I looked at the schedule, and I was like, it needs to be a nationally televised game. So the next national televised game was Duke, which was like 3 or 4 games after he picked about 3 weeks earlier. So,
well,
and then you're talking about the time when he picked and put it in his mouth, right? I mean,
no, he missed that game. Did you see that, Dave? Did you see that?
No.
Oh boy.
Did he?
Dude, he was pretending to bite his nail with one finger, and then he went up with another one, and he came back and went in his mouth. And full disclosure, Sean, he video recorded it, and he put it on Twitter. So, I mean, even as Syracuse fans, we joke around about that.
Yeah.
So no worries.
The Boeheim pick is a thing. I've been watching Boeheim pick his nose since I was probably about 8 or 10 years old.
Since you were picking your nose.
Basically.
Doesn't his wife yell at him? I mean, when I was a kid and I was doing it, my mom would smack me and he has a younger wife.
Yeah, she's not watching the TV though. She's there.
Oh, she knows about it, man. Come on.
Yeah.
She's got it, man. And if he's doing that on national TV, what the hell's he doing in the privacy of their own home?
Who knows?
That's between
come on.
him and God.
and his wife,
and Julie.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
His wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Julie. That's their business.
That's why SU fans liked when he was wearing the face shield, right? So you have to go all the way under it and then in. And with nothing there, with no barrier, I mean, he's just straight at it. It's just too easy. So, I mean.
Yeah, I put my college degree to good use on that prop, man.
Yes, you did.
Great.
And we're proud.
Am I doing my career?
So
where did I go wrong?
You got BetOnline sponsoring Armchair Media in this show, and I see that prop come up. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm retweeting this. So we don't have a problem with that. Anything about the you think there's anything to be said about maybe the Big Ten being a little overrated, or obviously
Big Ten and Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, they were looked at as two of the more powerful conferences, and obviously their NCAA rankings proved it. I mean, the Big Ten in their semifinal had 4 top 10 teams in it. So I think a lot of people, including myself, had a lot of those. I had Big Ten and Big 12 matchups throughout my bracket because I thought they were the better teams, and it just seems like it's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, the one that really surprised me was Illinois. I figured Big Ten was overrated. How could they not be with all those teams at the top?
Right.
But I thought Illinois was the team, and they cracked.
I had them winning. I had them winning.
I had them in the finals. So
I had them in Gonzaga in the final.
Yeah, me too.
So that was rough. And even the Big 12 to me, I mean, I thought Oklahoma State would have been able to take Oregon State. As soon as I saw Illinois, I'm like, okay, there's Oklahoma State's spot. But I mean, even that, when you see that, I mean, doesn't that give you a little bit of hope against Baylor on Saturday? Like, you know,
I always have hope. You know what I mean? But
right.
Yeah, it's 6.5 points. I thought it'd be more. Well, I thought it'd be closer to 8.5. So, but again, that I guess that does give me hope that the other guys have it at 6.5. So I don't know. I just don't think it's. They're so tough though. That Baylor, we just don't match up. We're gonna have a hard time with those guards, but who knows? If Villanova, if they're shooting well, they can beat anybody. If they're shooting lights, they're so reliant on a 3-pointer. So if they're knocking them down left and right, then we can play with anybody except maybe Gonzaga. But that's what it's going to come down to.
So I got to ask, just as a basketball fan and as someone who does this for a living, when you look at Syracuse matchup against Houston this Saturday, 10 o'clock, again, even though they played San Diego State tough at 10 o'clock, how do you look at this matchup for Syracuse?
It's a tough one, Houston's a really good team. I didn't watch a whole hell of a lot of them this year, but I watched them in the tournament, and I'm impressed. Hell of a team. It's gonna be a tough one, man. I think 6 points is a lot of points. I'll take those points at just about any game this round. But I can't see Syracuse.
You can say it. That's fine.
I'll be surprised they win outright. I mean, Houston and Villanova are kind of in the same spot. They got to the Sweet 16, which is an awesome accomplishment. But the thing is, they have great coaches who've been there before, and they're not satisfied. I guarantee that. So both of them are outclassed on paper in this round, but anything can happen once the ball goes up.
That's right.
And to that too, I was going to ask. I know because realistically, the basketball lines it's a little bit like sooner, like closer to the game when the lines come through, right? I mean, football you got a whole week, but with Syracuse Houston, now we have a whole week, right? Because of the tournament. And how much do you think opening at 6? You think the way the Buddy Boeheim and the hype and everything with the Boeheim and Boeheim thing, do you think Buddy's going to swing it closer? Like if you're going to bet on Syracuse, well, the line, right? If you're going to bet on Syracuse, you should probably hit it like now, right?
Yeah.
The public really doesn't move the odds. The sharp money moves the odds.
Yeah.
So and I just actually the public is on the Cuse right now. Is on Syracuse. 76% of the early cash is on Syracuse, but that's. So like 95% of the money's yet to come in.
Right.
It's hard to say because you really can't pay too much attention to the public money. It's mostly about the sharps and who they're going to bet. Now there will be some, if no sharps are betting it, if they don't have a play, and it stays at 76%. Then the odds will move down to 5.5.
Just trying to get them to bite, right? So
yeah, so public wise, it would go down, but sharp wise, you don't know. You don't know which way it will go yet.
Okay, all right. I see Houston and West Virginia just very comparable teams, and I'm just as nervous this time around than I was West Virginia for sure. So probably for good reason.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I was nervous against San Diego State, so that's nothing new until, I mean, this is so Syracuse of Syracuse to just barely, in your mindset, you think they're barely getting in, and then they make it to the Sweet 16, so.
Well, or even Final Four. I mean, that 2016 Final Four.
Yep.
I mean, what was their seed that
11? 10, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was there. I was at that game because, again, I'm the Villanova guy, and it was just like watching Cuse go that far, and it's like, my God, Boeheim's doing it again. But they had to play UNC in the Final Four.
Yep.
And,
what game were you at? The Syracuse Virginia game?
No, the Final Four in 2016 when you guys played UNC and we shelled Oklahoma, and then we beat UNC in the final. But no, it's
I'm all good with you beating UNC Two. That's a tough one.
week.
Which one do who do you hate more, UNC or Villanova? At this point, being in the ACC since 2014, it's almost a toss up. But one thing we can.
Plus, we both. Well, I live in North Carolina anyway, so I don't want to hear all that.
Well, I got plenty of UNC fans here in Virginia, but one thing we all three can agree on is that we all hate Georgetown, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And Georgetown sucks, right? So
yeah. It's they're not the Georgetown of. I mean, them making a tournament that was something else. But
do they make the tournament without winning the conference?
No, they won the conference. They won the conference.
Yeah,
it was.
But they don't make it without winning the conference, right? No shot. No shot.
No.
Okay.
Hell no. Not even close.
I think it showed, man.
Yeah.
I think Villanova and Michigan, two teams that lost pretty key players right there at the end of the year. I think that was like two of the teams that a lot of people had like losing early in the tournament. So just to see these guys get here to the Sweet 16, it just kind of validates how good of a team that both those teams had. But again, probably like how you feel. I mean, at some point, I feel like Gillespie's injury and Liver's injury in Michigan is going to catch up to him. And hope the Sweet 16 isn't the time, because to be perfectly honest with you, the top seeds that lose, the better it is for us, for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, Dave, look, if we do get a Final Four matchup, man, I'd love to have you back on. I'll get a hold of Andrew and see if we can get you back on. But we really appreciate you coming on tonight. Thanks for the insight. Everybody, head over to BetOnline. And sign up. They're still doing the 50% welcome bonus. So head over there and do that today. Dave, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
At Dave Mason, BOL, on Twitter. Go there. Follow him. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with us. I want to thank Dave Mason for coming on. We appreciate that. I want to thank BetOnline, too, his employer. And also...
What about me?
Hold on a second, Joe. I'm not done yet. And...
Oh, okay.
eBay.com/sneakers. But most of all, you guys, for Joe, I'm Sean Rao.